Spearcrest Digital, digital marketing company, make websites. And what else services do you guys offer for people that might be some use for some of the home service businesses out there?
Yeah, so right now our primary focus is on the organic side. So we offer website design, SEO, and Google Business Profile Management. So our Google Business Profile and SEO services are a combined service. So we help people rank organically, and we help people rank in the maps because most business that comes organically online is coming from Google Maps. So, and when I say SEO, we do search engine optimization for all search engines, not just Google. And those methods work for AI search engines, which I think over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a shift. I think Google's going to lose some ground. I still think they're going to be king for a long time, but I think they're going to lose some ground. And so good SEO works across multiple search engines. And that's really going to be our focus now and as we move forward. So yeah, those are our primary services. We're talking about rolling out some, maybe some ads management in the spring. So we've got a team, pretty built up team now. And we've got some trainings and stuff coming up. I don't want to roll out anything unless it's high quality. You know, I don't want to just roll it out for the sake of rolling it out and trying to make money. I'm not about that. I want to roll something out that's actually going to make a difference for our clients. So anyway, we're talking April, May. We may be rolling out some ads management for our clients as well.
Very cool, man. I love to hear all this great stuff you got going on. And the whole thing that I really like, and why we started working together and I hired you and all, is because I like the whole fact that you were part of the junk removal industry. You had your own company, you ran it, you were there day to day. So you kind of understand the market and needs that a junk removal company would use, but it also is good for any other company out there. I had a couple other friends I made mention to you, and one of the persons I think she contacted you and all. But I was just so impressed when I had you on interview, and the knowledge that you were spewing that day was just gold. And from that first interview, never forgot you. And I was like, yo, this is the guy I want to work with, man. He really knows all the little details and the nitty gritty stuff that really matters. And getting you ranked up there with SEO and all. So I kind of want to just, touch on your history, man, and kind of, how did it all come about, man, to get this whole digital marketing company up and running? I know you were doing the whole junk removal. Kind of tie it all together for us.
Yeah, well, first of all, man, I really appreciate that. I appreciate you working with us. I'll go back real quick. I've been following you since you came online. You've been you tagged me in posts, and when you first started out, I'm like, who is this dude tagging me? And like, getting everybody on his podcast and stuff. And I've seen your brand grow online, and you do an incredible job of it. And it's clear because you've done it before. You kind of know the game. And so anyway, through that, I appreciate you deciding to work with us, man. We put a lot of work in to be able to get to a point where someone like you would find us, have us on a podcast, and decide to work with us. So yeah, I'll back up and kind of tell you the whole story. So I had still have the junk removal business, by the way. I added in a second owner recently, and he's been with us for a while, but it's his baby now. So we started that business, man, it's been 7 years. That business has been around. And so the first couple of years, I hired a marketing agency, and I gave them a while. Like they were super nice guys, and I think they had good intentions, but they weren't experts in their field. They weren't experts in their craft, and gave them 2 years, which is a lot of time. I was paying them like $1,500 a month. They were doing similar things to what we offer now, but they were doing some ads as well, and I never got any results, man, after 2 years. We still weren't, we were ranking on like the 5th or 6th page on Google. You couldn't find us in the maps. So it's kind of a unique story, and I kind of caught a break in a weird way, but my dad ended up getting cancer, and he couldn't go back. He's a mechanic. He couldn't go back working on cars. He got over the cancer, but he needed something to do. And so I plugged him into the business, just really answering the phones, scheduling the jobs. It got me away from having to worry about that side of the business. And so I thought, as I'm away from that, I'm going to get into marketing, right? So I'm going to get into figuring out how I can market the business. And I'm just going to learn it on my own. So I took a course. It was it's a group / training course. It was called Badass Marketers. And, I spent quite a bit of money. I invested a lot of money into it. I was investing that money to learn how to do it for my own business. And what I learned really was the ins and outs of how to set up an agency, kind of a good, like the bones of how to set up an agency. There's a lot of things that aren't answered in that course, but it gave me a good idea of how to get started. So I'm taking all the technical stuff and pulling it out of that course, and I'm implementing it into my business. So I got my website built on Duda, right, on a new platform. Start learning how to do SEO. I start doing the SEO. I start managing my Google business profile. After about 6 months of that, we went from unranked to page 1 organically, top 3 of the maps. And we grew by like 35, 40%. So I'm talking about this stuff in the groups, in Matt and JoJo's group and in the big group. And so people start saying, well, hey bro, could you help me do that? And so at first we helped a couple people. That started turning into, they started getting results. They started speaking highly of us. And I'm like, okay, now I got to make a decision. I've got kind of the junk removal side automated. I didn't need to make a lot of money off of it. I was still working full time. I was the chief operating officer at a veteran nonprofit when Spearcrest, or right before Spearcrest came along. And I didn't have to have that. I had kind of a security blanket. So I'm like, all right, we're going to start this agency and start helping people. And so we started the digital marketing agency in 2022-ish. It's been 3 years, roughly. And so late 2021, early 2022. And so we started from there, dude. And for a long time, we only had like 10 clients. Like we would average about 10 clients. And then, let's see, in September of last year, right? It was not this most recent September, the September before. It's a little confusing. I ended up leaving the veteran nonprofit. So Spearcrest was getting to a point where it was like, all right, either I have to decide I need to jump in this full time, or I have to let it go, because I can't do both. Because managing a veteran nonprofit it's an ordeal, to say the least. And just around that time, the CEO and I had kind of we butted heads. Had kind of a falling out. And then, so that kind of helped solidify my decision. And then right like a week later, a buddy of mine who owned a marketing agency, they were struggling. He's like, hey, can you come in and teach my agency how to do what you guys do? And he paid me a nice big chunk. So that bought me enough time to be able to, leave that security, go take this agency thing full time and have kind of a blanket. Really, it bought me 30 days. And so I told myself, I have 30 days to get 10 new clients. If I can get 10 new clients in 30 days, we're going to survive. And we ended up getting like 15. And so from then on, man, it's been pedal to the metal. Tim, to tie this back into the junk removal, the junk removal's been operating. Tim is a good friend of mine, Tim Isaac. And my dad kind of got to a point where he was like, look, I'm tired of doing the junk removal thing. It's wearing my ass out. It's a lot for an old guy. So Tim was like, he was working with me at Spearcrest, and I was like, hey, dude, can you manage the junk removal side? I'll pay you your salary through Spearcrest. He was doing sales and that kind of thing, just to manage it. And so Tim stepped up and he starts managing it. And he's like, hey, dude, like we could do a lot more with this. And so he optimized our operating procedures and got our ground marketing stuff in place. And then we got to a point where it was like, do we really want to continue to do the junk removal side? Maybe we can sell it or merge it with another company, let them handle it, and we can just take a chunk, because the junk removal business helps pay for the rent, like in the building that we're in, right? We don't make a lot of money off of it, but it's a good cash flow business. And then he's like, so we tried to merge with a company, and that was just a headache and was muddy and didn't work out. They're great guys, and I don't, it just wasn't the right time. And then Tim was like, dude, I can do this. Like this business has been around for a while. It's got a great brand. It's already driving in. Like it's predictable, it's going to make 20 to 30K a month in revenue. Like we know that's going to happen. Let's get it to 50 or 60 consistent. And we don't do any marketing other than SEO. So there was no on the ground marketing happening, because it was just really me. And so that's what he's doing, man. Today, today he had a BNI meeting, and then he went around to realtor groups and was handing out business cards and shaking hands, and he's growing the business on the ground. We've got kind of a good baseline of repeat customers, and we rank very well online. And so now it's just kind of taking it to that next gear. So that business still operating. I try to keep myself away from it as much as possible, because I'm the type, if you get me involved, I'll like take over the situation. So I stay focused on Spearcrest now, but yeah, so I bumped my head and bled a lot in junk removal. That's how I learned how to be a business owner. Made a lot of stupid mistakes, and I try to share that as much as I can with people to help them avoid those same mistakes. But yeah, man. So that's kind of the whole story, and how it ties together, and where we're at right now.
Very nice, man.